There are actually a couple of things that I'd like to touch on here. First, on the spending side, I would like to address corrections costs in the state. If you look at where correction costs have gone on a statewide basis over the course of the last 30 years, they've eaten up a larger and larger portion of our budget. And while it's important to administer justice appropriately and to disincentivize crime and bad behavior, it's also important to realize that those costs don't exist in a vacuum, and that every dollar that we spend on corrections is a dollar that could be spent elsewhere. So looking broadly at the cost side of state government, I think corrections is an area, since it uses up between 15 and 20% of our state budget, that we need to look at addressing and reining in a bit. And then the second thing that I'd like to talk about are regulatory costs. While I was the agribusiness specialist at the Michigan Economic Development Corporation, I talked to a lot of companies who were struggling not so much with the permitting costs associated with regulations, but the time and uncertainty associated with primarily environmental regulations in my case, but I'm guessing that businesses who are trying to comply with workplace safety regulations and financial regulations and all kinds of other regulations that the state administers run into the same problem. So what I'd really like to do is look at what we can do either through the state government or through something like the university or the Michigan State University Extension or the Michigan Manufacturing Technology Center to drive down some of those uncertainty and weight costs. So that involves both figuring out how to let business owners who are applying for permits to figure out whether they really stand a good chance of accessing those permits on the day that they apply for them. And there are some permits in the state that take up to 180 days to receive, with numerous communications back and forth between the business and the regulatory agency. So that's something that needs to be addressed, and that's probably something that could be administered by the university or the MMTC. And then I think we need to continue to work on making our various departments of state government more customer service friendly toward the businesses that they work with. So that would include reducing wait times, reducing uncertainty, and just improving the quality of conversation back and forth with our small businesses.